Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. How is everyone doing? Welcome to another live stream. Saturday is the first day of the month, so happy month, everyone. It's October already, so we are 3 months away from the end of the year. Time flies as we know it. So time to define some goals for the last quarter and time to actually review the previous quarter, previous month or previous week. It's going to be a little bit of reviewing this weekend for me. Usually I do that on Sundays. So yeah, welcome to Pedro FS. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. It's Saturday, so on Saturday I usually do my weekly analysis for the week ahead. So that's what we're going to do today. I cover from dollar index. Usually that's where I started. It's one of the most important assets pairs to look at because it gives me the overall view of what to expect and from the major pairs. Then we go a little bit to the indices, S&P and NASDAQ. We go then through the major FX and we finish with a little bit of crypto with Ethereum and Bitcoin. That's usually how it goes with the live stream. So if it's your first time, welcome. If you have been around already, feel free to ask me any questions, to interact with me, to talk about any levels that maybe I'll be looking at, or if you have any other pairs that I haven't covered or that I usually don't cover, feel free to ask. So, right, big week that we just had, maybe some kind of reversal for the next few days, weeks. It's going to be kind of the question, right? Did we make the new high on the dollar or not? And which would be kind of the new low on the euro and so on. It's going to be interesting to see it. We saw that yesterday we literally closed on the NASDAQ. We closed below the low, so we literally created a new low for the year. And did we close below the low? Next to it, I think we actually closed in the monthly candle. I think actually closed below. I can remove this Fibonacci from here. It's going to be interesting for the indices now with this close below. Creating a new low for the year. Are you going to resume the bearish market or not on the indices? Extend it actually, continue to the downside. After that big retrace that took around 2 months. I talked already about that. I covered that already. Especially on the S&P, the analysis that was done comparing with the previous bearish markets that we had, 73, 2001, 2008, something like that. We always had this retracement along the way, close still to the high before actually had then the big sell-off. So let's see what's going to follow on the indices. Regarding comparing with where we were last week and where we are now, if you guys were, if you watched the previous lives, the previous weekly analysis last Saturday, we actually predicted the reversal on the euro dollar, right? It was actually the game plan for the week. It was exactly that. Look for a continuation on Monday, and then the potential reversal. Maybe it will be kind of Tuesday. That would be for the euro dollar to break that specific level that I was mentioning around 0.96. It was a low that I've been talking about for the last 2 months. I think beginning of July, since euro dollar broke 2017 lows. We got there and price actually reversed. It was a little bit different from what I was expecting or what I would like to see when we did this previous live stream, because I wanted to see actually that continuation to the downside on the euro, which would be kind of literally the opposite of what you can see here on dollar index. In this case, it was the on dollar index, it's a continuation to the upside. On euro, it was a continuation downside. I would be looking for shorts on that on Monday. However, all the move that I would have liked to see, that I mentioned, what I was expecting to happen on the Monday session, it literally happened just during the Asian session, right? We had a big spike during the night. Price moved those 120, 30 pips, something like that. That's it. Move was done, price retraced, and then it was slowly. And what I was expecting to happen then on Tuesday, which was kind of the reversal. Tuesday was just getting close again to these highs on dollar index, which is kind of the lows on the euro dollar. And the reversal, instead of happening on Tuesday, it actually happened on Wednesday. So yeah, because of basically all that spike that occurred during the Asian session on Monday morning, we delayed kind of one day what I was actually expecting to happen and the levels that I wanted to see price reach to before looking for possible reversals, right? And that happened. That happened on Wednesday, which was completely accelerated, or maybe in this case, maybe the catalyst, the news that helped for it to happen. It was for sure the Bank of England kind of intervention on the bond market. So there you go. We had that move. We had that now retrace on the dollar, and the move to the upside on the euro and so on. And that's what happened on Wednesday. And Thursday, I was expecting, because I was like, for me, this is actually a good level to see a reversal. And I was expecting kind of this one to be maybe the new low for the next few days, not just create a low and price switch or ignore it and continue. In this case, a high. So I was actually on Thursday looking for trades in continuation of the same direction that we had on Wednesday, which would mean break this new low and expect price to go. And then yesterday, it will be the third day after the higher high, the peak that we had. I was expecting yesterday actually to look for the reversal, which I had on around the London Open, on euro dollar, pound dollar, and so on. And then this is the weakness, right? So it's important that price doesn't really go that far away. It's important that price kind of manage to stay here. If this high wants to hold, it's important to price to continue to move a little bit further down before retesting. And by price creating kind of this move already, we are creating already a few zones, a few barriers that can hold price down anytime we have some kind of retracement, right? So at this moment we had this high this low that we broke downside. This previous kind of level of support can work as resistance, and kind of what it did in there. And this was a natural zone as well to look for a retracement, or as a target if you managed to get to sell in there. This was a natural zone. Now this was compressed, and we actually had the engulf. This engulf was a little bit even more clear on the dollar index than on the euro for me. We literally broke this low in there, opening more space to go to downside, which will naturally be somewhere in there. And the next zone that I actually like is where I'm going to actually be looking for, maybe on the dollar index. It will be maybe this level. We had all these levels, previous resistance, with the previous high there on the left side at around 110, and you have all these lows. I think this actually happened during the FOMC. Price actually took a little bit this low, but never really reached this demand zone that you can see on the 4-hour. There are some smaller demands. I think there is one kind of demand in there on the 15 or 5 minutes when you had this move up. That's actually where this low is reacting from, and it broke actually that low. But on the 4-hour, even if you look now on the higher time frame, this zone looks like it's still fresh, and you have all these kind of 1, 2, maybe three lows in here that can quite naturally be a good zone for maybe price to eventually target to and see some kind of reaction. When price gets to this level, for sure I'm going to be looking for some kind of reaction from there, and most likely there's going to be some opportunities on the lower time frame. Not sure if it's going to be from here all the way up, but I'm expecting some kind of reaction on the dollar index, and that's one of the first levels that I will be looking for. After that, we do have kind of maybe this demand still that respected that level, and so on and so forth. But let's see. In reality, yesterday price never really reached that zone. So on the euro dollar, you could see that price was also reacting from a good level to expect some reaction, some retracement to downside. On the dollar index, I was looking a little bit at least to this high in here, or at least to touch this edge of this week. That's kind of what I was looking for. Price never really touched it. Maybe touched the high of this one. Yeah, maybe that's where it reacted, and you have this kind of supply in there as well. But never really touched the other one. So there was a little bit of space in here. Not sure the price is going to react from there. This is already enough. Let's see. We do have as well some maybe some reaction below these lows could be an option into this demand. But eventually I want to see price going all the way there. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I really like this already engulfed down. That's something that I've been always talking about. By now, maybe already getting used to see these levels even when you're doing your own analysis. So is this engulfed down on way up? They work really nicely as a future target, or as a consequence. If this looks like a nice zone to look for a target, if you are selling, most likely can be a good zone as well to look for a long. And yeah, I do pay attention, and I love to track this kind of small engulfs down on the way up. Yeah, yesterday's session, it was a little bit weird in the sense that we had, for example, the previous days, we had full basically correlation between the dollar pairs, in the sense that dollar index was going down. We saw Aussie going up, we saw pound going up, we saw New Zealand going up, we saw dollar CAD going down, we saw, like, there was almost a perfect correlation. And yesterday's session, especially in the afternoon, I think there was a little bit of a difference, where we could see, for example, euro dollar retracing a little bit to the upside, pound dollar retracing a little bit to the upside. We saw dollar CAD breaking new highs just before the closing. In theory, dollar CAD should kind of go down if you see euro going up and pound going up. Dollar yen, it has been one of those pairs that if you have been trying to trade dollar yen this week, it's been a really big struggle, because the price action we could see in there is quite erratic, like it's not normal. Not really sure what's going on there with that intervention from the Bank of Japan, but at this point I'm not really looking for any trades on dollar yen. But yes, it was a little bit of not so much of what in theory what you want to see in terms of correlation between the dollar pairs, and we could see that even dollar index is kind of ranging in a little bit in here. But yes, we saw dollar CAD breaking new highs, euro going a little bit higher, pound going a little bit higher as well, getting really close to the highs. And yes, if you like to see kind of a little bit the market aligned in order to give you higher probability setups, yesterday evening, or kind of after the US Open, that's not exactly what we could see. Yeah, so that's what I will be looking for in terms of dollar index, higher time frame perspective of where it is reacting to on the left side. 1 second, let's just take a look at where it is reacting to. So it's the bottom line. So it's reacting from somewhere in here. This is the weekly chart. This was a demand that was never respected on the way down. This is the monthly chart. Where are we? Yeah, so it's reacting from this zone in there. It just touched the base of this week in there, which is okay. We will get it on the daily. Yep, come on, dollar index. Trading view feature, I mean, never create one where we change the time frame and price just stays there. Where are we? Oh, we are here. So this is where kind of price is reacting to from the bottom of this line. This one. Eventually, I'm not sure if this is the final zone for the dollar index. I think price, if by any chance, if it wants to reverse, I think it would make sense to get a little bit closer to kind of this zone in here, and not so in here. I do like where euro dollar reacted from, but I can also see that maybe euro dollar still wants to, but there's a little bit more room to the downside. This reaction from now is just kind of a fake out of that structure on the left side. I could see a little bit more of a move upwards on the dollar eventually. I don't know when, maybe the next few weeks, somewhere in the future. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. But for me, I think there's a little bit more room to the upside. And then, of course, if we continue to go higher and higher, it's going to be a question of are these highs actually going to hold price or not? If this is enough for a dollar index. That's kind of that's going to be one of the questions and something that we want to see. If this is the zone, we are getting really close, and maybe we are going to be close to a big reversal somewhere in the near future. Otherwise, price will just continue and eventually even break these highs and go somewhere else. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen in there on the dollar index. For now, I do see a little bit more of a move downside, maybe even retesting at least this 110 level, which is actually kind of in alignment with that zone that I just mentioned, that I actually like it. Yep, this one in here. So let's see. I'm still looking a little bit more for the downside. I like this level, so it was a nice zone to react. I could see again Monday, I could see price going a little bit farther down, then maybe retracing a little bit. So not really, I haven't really seen any what kind of news event you're going to have next week. For sure, it's going to have NFP on Friday, right? First Friday of every month. But aside from that, I'm not really sure. But I could see price going on Monday, going a little bit further down, then maybe some kind of reversal. Eventually, maybe price can get there. To the upside, there's maybe still something in there to look for some zones for price. If any chance that price wants to go a little bit higher before go down, there is that chance in there. On the dollar, on the euro dollar, actually, I see it as an engulf to the upside. We're going to get there in a bit. But this low for me on the dollar, which means the high, I think it's an engulf up, which I will see it as an engulf up. So expecting more a move to the upside on the euro would mean further move to downside on the dollar. Thing that is interesting that we have seen around across this year actually is that the dollar, like dollar strength, has been kind of in an inverse correlation with the indices. And yesterday's session, for example, it's a good example that we actually had kind of a little bit of, have been having kind of dollar weakness for the last 2 days. And the indices actually have been going down. Actually broke the lows for the last 2 days, right? So we managed to create newer lows of the year. And that's something that I'll be paying attention to in terms of the correlation between the dollar and the indices, and it's going to be some kind of this like separation now between this correlation that has been happening since the beginning of the year, mostly. So it's going to be interesting to see if we are going to, because for me now with this break of the lows, finally on the indices, resuming the downtrend, I'm going to be expecting further move to downside. On the indices, I've been bearish since the beginning of the year, basically since we broke this low in here. Which one is it? I think it was somewhere in here. Yeah, since we did this one, that was literally bearish on the indices, and I've been since. For me, all this has been compressed, and I'll be surprised if price doesn't get to at least 3,500 or something like that before even considering any move to the upside. We do have this kind of level on during COVID, somewhere in there. At least all this for me is kind of compressed, and price literally kind of broke right into this compression. So I'm expecting price to just continue to go down on the S&P. Yep. And if you actually trade or like to trade indices, this was a kind of a natural zone to look for. After we broke this one, we literally just retested this next level. Actually, we may have left that small supply in there on the lower time frame. Yeah, I think I was looking a little bit more in here, but maybe that one was a possibility. This week, most likely, it's part of the decision. On the higher time frame, maybe there's something in there for the future to fake out this high. Maybe have some kind of reaction and then price maybe continue. Yep, not sure if this actually touched that zone or not. But that's for the future. But for now, that would have been a nice zone to look for a continuation. It broke new lows. If I count these highs, and we are free to just continue down. It's a natural move that we see happening quite often in this kind of trend continuation setups. Yeah, indices. It's going to be interesting to see in terms of the correlation with the dollar. That's my main focus, or main point of focus that I want to see how it's going to happen, right? And are the indices reading now? Because at this point, Bitcoin hasn't really broken the low from June, while these indices, they have managed to finally break the lows and continue and resume the bearish move. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen as well with the crypto, and if they are going to follow or not the same move of this of the indices. So it's going to be quite interesting. NASDAQ on the other hand as well, we do have that zone from COVID, and we have kind of this is actually kind of a nice zone in there, and we have these lows that you can eventually fake out. So yeah, expecting maybe price to fill out this level, maybe getting close to I don't know, somewhere in there, at least 10,300, something like that. Just going all the way below these lows. There's maybe something in there that you can expect some reaction. Second thing in there, but I wouldn't mind to see price eventually breaking and going a little bit farther down. If price does continue and eventually starts breaking these lows, all this looks compressed, and price can even go way farther down. So it's just it's following the what price is going to be doing around those levels. If it breaks, most likely it's going to show indication where it wants to go next, which will be a little bit to the next zone. So it's going to be playing zone by zone. Bigger picture, I will be surprised if price eventually doesn't go and even go below this 10,300 zone mark. So yeah, let's see how October is going to play out. It's going to be interesting to see. Having already kind of 6 weeks of negative candles. It's been 6 weeks basically since that high. We had a small retrace in there, 1 2 3, small pause, and 3 more. That's the resume now of the bearish market. Yeah, that level that I had in there, even on the daily or weekly, it actually looks a little bit nice around the COVID high. Maybe some reaction from there can be interesting. Yeah, let's see what the indices are going to do. Even the DAX, something that I start to follow a little bit again. Sometimes the best trades are actually kind of the more natural ones, right? Break previous level of support, retest it, and maybe expect price to continue to go down. Sometimes it looks just that easy. And maybe we just start overcomplicating everything by looking at or trying to find out fancy stuff in the market. Yeah, break, retest, and let's see if it's going to continue or not to the downside. It has been respecting this trend line quite nicely. For me, somewhere in there could be an option to see some kind of retrace or some kind of bounce, I mean. But this one is already broken, this one. I don't know if it's reacted from here. So maybe not. So maybe there's actually potential for price to go a little bit farther down and go react from somewhere in there. Looking at even a bigger picture. Can we do that? Do I have data for that? Yeah, maybe something in there. And we have this left shoulder in there. Second, guys. No, it's maximizing the... We have this shoulder in there. Not sure it has been taken or not. Yep, interesting. I'm looking kind of forward for this level with some reaction from here. Could be an option for an intraday setup. Can be an option, yeah, but eventually faking out this low would happen as well. So yeah, that's for the DAX, which would mean these levels. 1 second, let's take a look at the levels themselves. Around 11,600 maybe, and then even below that low would be 11,250, something like that. Could be good levels to look at, just below this low. Yeah, maybe. So let's see what's next on the DAX. I don't really trade indices, to be honest, but yeah, start following them. I just look at higher time frame, more setups. Don't really look into too much intraday. Yeah, maybe on the S&P and NASDAQ, sometimes I do look at it. Yeah, so let's take a look at the... Before I do that, before I go to the majors, let's just take a look at the other indices, because this actually helped me this week, and it's something that I use a lot on my intraday trades on Forex. I do look at these indices the same way that I look at dollar index. I do look at this euro index and the GPY index as well, right? And you can actually fine tune quite nicely some reactions based as well or on where they are reacting to. Right, so this GPI index is doing the opposite of, like, if it goes up, dollar index, dollar yen, euro yen, pound yen, Aussie yen, they kind of should do the opposite. They should go down. If they go up, they should go down. So yeah, for example, when price reached this level, there was a really nice opportunity to look for a long on euro yen, for example, the pair that I was looking for. As soon as price got here, there was a really nice zone to look for a buy on euro yen, which would be a sell in here. Now that price reached in here, you can see the reaction on the euro yen or the other yen pairs. Not exactly dollar yen this week, because dollar yen has been behaving quite strangely, but it's something that you can use. Just find these higher time frame levels as well on these indices. And you can find it. For example, this level from here, you are aware of this supply level that is fresh, literally broke into here. You have compression all the way there, and you have this price. This one went down. That's literally where you could have looked for a long on the euro yen around the 28th of September. That's when actually euro yen start going up. So yeah, you can use these indices quite nicely. And something that I really like about these indices is that there is not much kind of manipulation that maybe you can see in some of the individual pairs. On the indices, is usually if you find the demand is going to work, and the supply, or if you find some kind of important level of support resistance, usually they work quite nicely. Yeah, matching both of them, it's a really nice way to use some kind of correlation or extra confirmation. The same way in here, euro index, right? If you see that, if you have noticed that euro index at this demand level in there, in here, there was this demand. If price actually reacted from there, there was already good compression to the way down. You can draw a trend line. As soon as maybe you see that trend line being broken, which was maybe during the Bank of England decision last Wednesday, there you go. You can literally be bullish on the euro pairs. And you saw euro dollar going up, euro yen going up, even euro Aussie yesterday. It was non-stop going up. It was one of the pairs that moved strongly in a straight line to the upside, right? And if you are aware of that, it's perfect. And if you are aware as well kind of the next supply levels that are still fresh, maybe this can be a moment, maybe intraday or during the session, to look for a sell on the euro, which actually it matched in there. Then look for the continuation next time price reached there. For example, yesterday sell on the euro dollar around the opening, the London Open, or around 9 AM or something like that. It was when price reacted from this supply level in there. It matched as well on the euro yen as well, an opportunity to look for a sell. price reacting from there. Price had already broken this low, next level, kind of in here. There you go. You have a confluence that you can use when you're looking at these indices. And for me, actually, this already is an engulf to the upside, most likely. So yeah, I kind of mentioned there was a chance of price maybe from here going up, or a little bit of a deep retrace. Not sure if it was from here that I mentioned or somewhere in there, but a little bit of a deeper retrace maybe before we have maybe that continuation to the upside. Let's see how price is going to behave now from there. But yes, fresh zones, fresh supplies, reaction, and just fine tune. Go check the timing of the moves to downside. Go compare with the euro dollar and the other euro pairs. The same with the dollar index, sometimes with the Japanese index as well. Great confluence that you can use for your own trades. So yeah, let's now take a look at the major FX pairs. Let's go over. Guys, if you have any questions, feel free. Even if you are watching the recording afterwards, write a comment and I will cover it in the next live stream, which usually I do one on Saturdays, which is analyzing doing my weekly analysis preparation for next week, and then on Tuesday is more educational. Any topic that you want to cover, we can discuss about it. Any setup, any analysis, any trade that you maybe have taken and you want to share with me, we can talk about it. So euro dollar, right? Where were we last week? If you remember, we were here. That's where the closing occurred last week, last Friday, 23 of September. We were somewhere in there, right? And the level that I mentioned, right? The zone that I wanted to be seen taken. Actually, let me get a 1 second. Let me get a more clear euro dollar pair. Yeah, I think it has less lines. Right, so you guys remember, this was the zone that I wanted to see being taken. Right. Nice. You drawing? Yes, you're drawing. Yeah, so this was the low. I mentioned already a few times that's small fake out in there, and this was the line that I wanted to see, right? So this is where I was looking for. I've been looking for that level as soon as we broke this low, which I was already expecting for this low to be broken for quite a long time, and we finally broke it. I think it was 5th of July. I did actually that live stream on the day that it broke. It was a Tuesday, and that was naturally the next zone. I didn't like anything that was inside here. All these looks compressed. There was a small demand in there, which was actually a little bit aligned with the parity, or just below the parity actually, and that was the zone. Nice little level in there that I wanted to see. Eventually price can actually go a little bit further down. There's maybe something in there, and this is actually one of my favorites, maybe somewhere in there, 0.89. No idea if euro is going to go there or not, but that was the game plan. So Monday I wanted to see price going there, but in a slow move, not like it happened, right? So as I mentioned before, we had this big spike to downside occurring during the Asian session. It completely destroyed what I had planned for Monday, but it was there. What I had noticed on that day was that this low didn't really react from the low from the line or from the zone that I had. So that kind of made me a little bit curious to see if we actually would have a little bit of a retrace and actually then use this low as liquidity to fake out, to get faked out, and then price retraced. We talked about that exactly last Tuesday during the live stream. We literally anticipated the reversal on euro dollar. We talked about that. Price was somewhere in here when I did the last live stream Tuesday, and this is what I was looking for, right? We talked about it. Use this low. I mentioned that the zone underneath was still the zone that I had marked was still fresh. This one never reacted from there, and it was just a natural move. I had this compression. I really like this compression. I mentioned that as well, and that was a really nice zone to look for it. Yep. So Wednesday morning, big London session. Yeah, looking for longs in here. I was looking for it. I actually got in, got at breakout. Ended up being getting out at break even during that move of the BOE. That is what it is. We have had this engulf up, and then I got a little bit concerned. I didn't like all these walls together. Price reacted really nicely from still a fresh demand that was left in there in here on the 1 hour time frame, but I didn't like these ones. So even if I kind of was waiting for a small pick out and then go up, that never really occurred. Price just kind of went away without me. I let, yeah, break even in that one. It is what it is. The reversal was predicted quite nicely. We went to the upside, and then, yep, nice reaction from here. This could have been a nice level. Expect maybe some reaction. This is fresh from all this compression. This was one of the zones that was fresh. Then you had space towards the next zone, and from here we actually can go a little bit and check this compression zone. Looking at the daily candle, and this is where I mentioned that for me euro dollar maybe an engulf to the upside, because we actually took this high yesterday high took that high in there, more engulf there, as you can see. Let's check. Actually, that's what I was looking for or waiting for before I actually joined and short euro dollar. Yeah, somewhere in there. I shorted yesterday morning, but that's what I was looking for. Break off this about top that you had in there. To be honest, I could see price maybe still going a little bit above it, but that never happened. And then price started creating PA to go to the downside after breaking specifically. Maybe on 1 minute you can see the demand. Yeah, kind of when it broke this demand, for me that was the trigger to go short. Yeah, it was the demand that broke these highs, not just this low, we actually broke it, so that was the trigger. Short in there. So what's next on the euro? If this for me is an engulf up, for me it makes sense actually where price reacted from. There's maybe potential for in the future for price to maybe react a little bit more further down. Of course, there's still maybe out this zone in there that price can go to. Are we going to see any, what should I expect on Monday, right? That's kind of one of the questions. So this is kind of a nice zone in there. Oh, this was compressed actually, even broke this low even before we had the sell, which is exactly what I like to see. I love this kind of compressions. I like to see price breaking lows even before getting to the level that I want. And then you have just that fake out. Even we have a second break of the low, just even to confirm more. And there you go. This was one of the fresh levels that we had. And somewhere in there as well in the future, there's maybe something to expect from. Let's see if the euro, if this high on the euro is going to hold, if there's something still in there to look for. This, to be honest, looked a little bit compressed when it moved away. Looked a little bit compressed. There's maybe that one on top. Yeah. Let's see. That one. This one has been taken in there. Yeah, I'm going to be curious to see how price is going to open on Monday. If we do continue to go higher, I'll be looking for exactly kind of that setup, that kind of pattern that I look for on Mondays. I will be looking for maybe continuation to the upside. If that's where price wants to go, there's maybe something in here that price is going to react from and have a bounce to the downside. You need to find maybe that supply that maybe price is going to react from. In the scenario that actually we open during the London Open on Monday, and they actually go up, right? Hopefully there's not going to be any spike happening during the Asian session that's going to destroy again everything. Eventually in the higher time frame, I like I like a little bit this price in here. I could see price going all the way there. There is this moment in here. I think this was last Friday opening. We had a really strong opening on the 23rd. What was it? No, 21st. 23rd. It was this one. Yeah, but I like this level. This level is still fresh. This high never really got there. Expecting a little bit of a reaction. I think it's a little bit aligned with the low on that 110 low, 110 zone on the dollar index. I think it aligns a little bit with this level on euro dollar. So if dollar index is going to continue to go hard, to go lower and react from that 110 level, maybe that's a similar zone in here on euro. Aside from that, eventually we can even go higher, because this one actually already took this high, and maybe we can even go higher, closer to this to these highs in there eventually on the euro, and that's already above parity. So of course, checking if euro has enough strength to go close to the parity again, it's going to be interesting. The parity itself can work always as kind of support resistance zone, so always be aware of that on the euro. Which is, where is the parity in here? Somewhere in there. Somewhere in here is a parity level. So yeah, let's see. If it goes up, that's what I'll be looking for. Some reaction somewhere in the middle of the London session, price retrace, and then maybe continuation to the upside. Maybe we're going to have this kind of Quasimodo that we have in here. I think you guys can see that one. Kind of this supply on this time frame. 30 minutes, it looks that it's still fresh. Maybe that one can be ignored. Price can pause a little bit and go up and then react from this level and continue to the upside. And then maybe by Tuesday, how many pips are we away from it? We are kind of 130 pips. Maybe by Tuesday, if we are close to this level, maybe that's where we're going to see some kind of reversal. Let's see. Let's see if that's going to happen or not. If price decides actually to open and continue to go down. Let's see until where. Looking at the daily candle. Yeah, this kind of zone that I mentioned is kind of in there. Expecting price to eventually to go above this week is kind of what I'm expecting. So it's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, nice reaction from this zone on the daily candle. So really nice reaction, rejection, and price may continue to go higher and create new highs on the euro. I will be hoping for price to open with a little bit of strength on the London Open. Look for some kind of zone that maybe price can start showing exhaustion of the move up. That will need some kind of retracement. Most likely I'll try to short that move, and if I find a good level to maybe continue and look for the trend continuation setup, I will do that. Maybe close to the US Open. Yeah. Longer time frame, looking for a little bit more this level for price to go to. Yeah. Something below this zone in here. Expecting some reaction from there. That could be an option eventually, or even to take this low, eventually fake out that low and then continue to the upside. Could be another scenario that you could see. Yeah, this week is still fresh. Yeah, that's what I maybe. That's for the future. Eventually, if price goes below here, maybe fake out this low and look for maybe a reversal. It's going to always depend as well where is the high reacting to on the left side. If it made an engulf up, maybe that's going to be a good entry long from here, expecting price then to continue to go higher. If this high actually has reacted from maybe something important on the left side, maybe there's no engulf anymore and the move is done. Most likely are going to actually eventually continue and maybe break and create new lows, right? For example, if prices already reacted from here, and now it's retracing and even takes this low, whatever, maybe there's not going to be a long opportunity anymore and price eventually is going to just slowly, even if it reacts, or even if it has some kind of reaction, most likely it's going to just continue to go down and create new lows. So it always depends as well where the high or low is reacting from and where it's coming from. So that's the euro. The pound. Alright, the pound has been the big elephant in the room with all this craziness that is going on. All this strong bearish momentum. We got all the way to the walls to 10332, something like that. And now we are literally getting close to this level, which actually is quite interesting. Looking left, we may have this previous level of support resistance in there that can be or work as a good level. 114. This was a nice zone, so this supply in there, it was a really nice zone to look for an entry. This sell-off in here, I think it was last Friday when they announced the mini budget and we had the big sell-off. But if you actually paid attention, we had this small zone in there, that supply in there, and the high of this week never really got there. So there's a natural zone to then look for above this level. Really nice zone in there, and the reaction. Right, the reaction was actually quite nice. We had already a little bit of a compression in here, a really strong compression on the way up, and the move, it was yeah, a little bit aligned as well with euro dollar, if I'm not mistaken. Yesterday morning, that's when that move happened. Again, we had all this double top, even the triple one kind of respecting a little bit, and the spike and the move down. It's just a natural move that we have been seeing a lot of times, that I've covered quite a lot of times during these live streams. Question now is this low, has this low engulfed something on the left side? Yes or no, right? What I mean is, has this guy created an open space for price to go further down, or is price from here, which is target, and now it's ready to slowly go and eventually break the highs, right? So in short is, should we be looking for sales in here? That's the question. On this 4-hour time frame, it may look like it broke. Actually, this 4-hour daily, there's not much information. On the hourly, I'm not 100% sure if we actually broke, if we actually created new engulfing here. Yes, this is literally the beginning of this compression after this imbalance in here, and for me, I am not sure if this actually is an engulf to downside at this point, which is going to make me cautious of looking for sales in there. Yeah, this actually could have been a really nice zone now to look for the longs, because we literally completed all this move from here that was started with that compression. On the 1 hour, I think is the most clean way to see it. We literally started from here, we had this imbalance up, and now we paused, and now from here we start seeing that this level here start to managed to hold a few lows. Price goes up, respect again, compression, compression, compression. Natural zone to go to after we break into compression, to go to the other extreme of the compression. And it's actually kind of a nice zone. There's a supply that should have been respected on the left side, and it was completely ignored. So it's a nice zone to eventually be respected in the future. Yeah, and after we actually broke this one in here, maybe there was an opportunity to look for longs. Now, question of the engulf down, I'm not sure. Maybe I would say that we didn't. In terms of the approach, I kind of like the approach in terms of a lot of compression going on, even in here, what we saw like yesterday evening. I like to see lows being broken, which maybe had it in here. This one took this demand zone. Now this looks like it has been taken already. it's a good compression. It's a good compression to do it to the upside. So I will be looking our price. There's a little bit of this price. I like this price in here. So I'll be looking to see how price actually is going to behave somewhere in there. We had these left shoulders. I'll be paying attention to. Maybe there's a potential for some reaction from there, just towards the next level of structure, and price is going to continue. Not expecting price maybe to go all the way down. On the other hand, on the 4-hour time frame, we actually broke the low. So it's one of those situations where, at least for me, it's not 100% clean or clear that maybe have actually this engulf or not. I like the approach. I still see a little bit of space in there that can be used for price to react from, and yeah, I'll be playing by ear. I'll take a look and see what we can do. Looking at the daily candle, there's maybe a little bit more room to go a little bit higher, and that could happen. Could be the final fake out before maybe a little bit of a move further down. Let's see. On the other hand, if the euro dollar is going to maybe open to the upside, maybe pound's going to follow. What target can we look for on the pound? Yeah, we do have this low in here, which is actually kind of, it looks like still a fresh level in there. Yep, on the 4-hour it kind of looks nice. These highs in here, we have all these highs aligned, they never really got there. This one has been taken already, so faking out this zone into there could be an option. There's something in here, price had actually already reacted from there. There's maybe a little bit above it as well, so something in there. I would like to see, for example, what I would like to see now is maybe starting to see some kind of compression until maybe price goes there. And maybe we have the continuation of the resume to the downside. We have also this level in there, almost aligned with that low. So maybe seeing a little bit of a compression, that could be an option. This one can mark, this engulf down on the 4-hour can mark the future target. Price can actually even go down, respect this zone in here, and continue to go higher. And in the future, when you finally get maybe to the final zone, which could be this level, for example, price now can target something underneath this low and maybe something all the way to there. That's something that I could see that happening on the pound, to be honest, as price is evolving. And if we start managing to break this high, yeah, I could see that happening. Maybe even using this zone as a future long. And yeah, starting to compress, then eventually keep breaking new lows on the way up, and eventually that happens. You can kind of draw some kind of compression like this. Yeah, that will take maybe 1 or 2, maybe 1 week to be done, maybe a little bit more. Let's see. It's just playing out scenarios of maybe what we can expect, and yeah, and managing our expectations in regards to our targets as well. It's something important to do, right? So that somewhere in here could be a zone that I mentioned, maybe to look for potential longs, especially if you do break new highs. And this one in there could be a good zone maybe to look for. All this looks like it's been compressed there, and this one is still fresh, most likely. And align with this left shoulder in here. That could be an interesting zone, and I actually kind of like it. So going to be another one to look for, maybe this week, maybe somewhere in the future. Yes, I haven't really been active on pound since all this craziness. I don't really like to trade the pairs that are with that kind of volatility, or that can all of a sudden behave quite strangely. So I've been a little bit away from the pounds. If you take a look at the other ones, what am I doing here? If we take a look at the euro pound, for example, it after that spike that happened during last Monday, went all the way to the upside. Actually reacted quite nicely from this left shoulder and that fresh zone in there. And now it's retesting, coming all the way back to this to the origin that originated out this spike, right? So maybe some reaction from here. Actually, we start seeing a little bit of a reaction. Maybe to refill these ones from this previous level of support, from the demand. Price has been ranging in between here, so maybe price can continue a little bit down, maybe then to go up. Let's see if it breaks a little bit below this, maybe out this compressed, and we already have this engulf down. It will be interesting to see. There's maybe something aligned with this line. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Euro Pound is going to do. But yeah, really strong move on the opening. So yeah, nice recovery on the pound after that that strong move. For how long is going to sustain like this? I'm not sure. Is the Bank of England going to be able to do what it wants? That's we are going to be here to see it play out. Dollar, pound dollar as well has been moving quite nicely, or quite in alignment with the pound. We literally broke this low. We fake out this low in there. Yep, all these lows aligned, just a small fake out and the move to the upside. Interesting enough. Nice reaction from here. There's maybe a little bit more room to the upside on the pound yen. Yep, it's maybe a little bit more room to the upside. What a monthly candle. Jesus, what a doji. Incredible. Yep, let's see what's going to happen. Pound yen as well, it's a little bit of an engulf in there that may open space for the future. Let's see from where price actually is going to react from. Going to be one that I'll be paying attention as well as price evolves, as price is moving. So dollar yen, it's just nothing much to say from here, right? We actually finished last Tuesday's live stream mentioning that maybe this was a good zone to look for a short. I actually shorted it after the live stream when price broke which low? I think when he had this move downside. Maybe. Oh, it was here. It was here when it kind of broke something. We broke something. Price was doing something. I think price broke down. I shorted and I just closed it somewhere in there during the night. I just moved my target in there. I didn't like at all what I was looking at, what I could see. All these highs in here, then price spiked. It just keeps respecting this value. It's just a complete nightmare. If this is the pair that you have been spending your energy on during the week, well, good luck. Because there have been for sure better pairs to try to trade from, especially even yen pairs. And this can be one of the weaknesses of on that discussion, like should we focus just on one asset, on one pair to trade, or should we kind of have a little bit of a small portfolio that maybe can look at the different ones? So let's call it like maybe five pairs that maybe can try to look for opportunities, and then select one or two to maybe spend your day trading it. Yeah, because if this is the only pair that you're looking for, if you only follow one pair, and if this dollar yen, yeah, this was maybe 10 days since price is around here, 26th of September. Yeah, this last week literally hasn't been the best one to trade. And regardless of how good of a trader you are, it's not going to be the easiest one to look for opportunities comparing with other moves that we had. So at this point, I'm not trading anything in here. I just want to see eventually if price goes higher, I will have an alert in there. I'll be start looking for maybe some sells. There's a potential for a fast fake out in there. Yeah, I want price to just break above this highs before I even consider anything in here. I can see the approach, I can see the compression, I can see that this low, and we actually talked about that during the previous on that stream on Tuesday, that this could have been a natural zone to look for a target, because we had all this compression, price broke that one, compression in here. There was something in there that it was taken by this spike, compression. There was a potential that this demand was the next zone. We talked about that, price reacted, it went up. So it took this one already, most likely it have taken this one. This demand is maybe still fresh now, could be a zone that price could still react from. And maybe somewhere in there is the next one as well. So something in here, something in there, and eventually maybe we're going to resume the move to the downside. Right, we just don't know from where. So let's see what we have. How this in here is reacting from kind of these left shoulders, and then there's maybe something a little bit closer to the high. Let's see. For how long dollar yen wants to spend in here? No one knows. Yep, the other yen pairs, as you can see, they have been moving much better. On the 28th of September, as I mentioned before, when I was looking at the GPY index, there you go. Price went down on the other one. Strong move up. It has been a challenging week for me with this euro yen of missing entries. But it is what it is. We covered last week as well that it was maybe expected some good reaction, because price was literally reacting from this weekly demand zone. So expecting some reaction to the upside after this big move down. It was not a surprise, I would just say it, right? So we should be expecting something like that when price is reacting from a weekly demand that is still fresh, because this was never reacted from there. So yeah, now price is getting close to the other extreme, to all these kind of SR zones in there. We already saw some reaction yesterday morning around in alignment with the euro dollar as well. So let's see. Actually, it was quite similar to the euro dollar move. Yeah, this price, this zone, price reacted and it went up after the US Open yesterday. Let's see what's next. Is price going to go a little bit higher, right? Or not? Does price wants to go a little bit closer to that level? I still maybe see something in there. I missed the short in there, which maybe can still be a good zone if price fake outs these highs. So let's see what's next. If this is just euro yen now maybe starting to move like this, this can be just a mid-level range that price can eventually break and continue to go higher. Kind of what I'll be expecting on the euro yen. Yep. Aussie yen, it just continues. It kind of continues his bearish move. We talked already about the zone where it reacted from and how beautiful those levels are. We covered that during these previous live streams, and it just continues. We feel the compression, and it just even took these ones. Nice reaction from there, and there's the potential to go even farther below. It kind of broke a little bit here. This may be considered a little bit as an engulf to the upside. It's going to go like this, or it's going to maybe fake out first and maybe go higher, or even create new lows overall. Like where it will be the target for from those highs. Alright, that's kind of the question. Yeah, this is actually a nice zone just below this low to see some reaction. There's maybe more room to the downside. Even on the daily you can see really nice zone still fresh in here. Maybe retest this level, go and continue to go down. Yeah, I think it can continue to go down, but I do like that level. So let's see how price reacts from there. We saw a really strong weakness on the Aussie, right? Even New Zealand as well. But Aussie and New Zealand, it has been the ones with the weakest point. So we saw euro dollar still going a little bit up. We saw pound dollar still going a little bit up, and Aussie has been the one that is kind of in the downfall in here. Yeah, it did that in goof for a bit this low. Incredible how it worked. Quite incredible. This approach was nice. We even broke the low in there even before we have the retest of this level. So in terms of PA, it was actually quite nice. We have the compression, we have the break of a low before, then we have that maybe final fake out of this one, but into the origin of that high, and they moved on. Quite interesting. Yep. Aussie, for some reason, I still have the zone a little bit underneath it on the left side. I see it's reacting from here, and for some reason I still have a little bit of a zone below that. Let's see what the Aussie is going to do. Anytime that price reacts or creates new lows, I'll be cautious of looking for reversals. I want to see some kind of approach, or good approach. This was actually a good one. You can see the compression already happening, the trend line. Then of course that movement during the Bank of England happened and the reversal. But yes, seeing this kind of approach, it's really nice before any strong reversal or reaction that maybe can look for. Let's see what the Aussie is going to do. Is it going to create new lows, or is going to respect something here? We can see how these spikes, that was during the news. So I don't know how much, if this zone is still fresh or not, or if everything in there has been taken with that fast move. And Euro Aussie, as I mentioned before, one of the strongest yesterday. One of the strongest, right? We had all this compression, price kind of broke a little bit above that compression. It just retested even this next line, and now it filled literally all the way to the high. This high, it may have been considered already as an engulf up, as we broke all these highs in there. So maybe we are actually ready to, first of all, there could be some reaction in here, but eventually maybe going to go actually higher. But let's see, actually, let's see how price behaves around this level. Price behaves in there. Otherwise, maybe next level, somewhere in there. Yeah, maybe something like this, somewhere in there can be an option. Next, dollar CAD. Dollar CAD was an interesting one, and it was again in that conversation of, did this low engulf down or not? Right, when you're looking at this one, we had out that move as well on Tuesday. We just fake out this guy, higher time frame. Looking left, I think we broke this high, and we never really, so we second, let's just do things correctly. So we had this high, we finished the week by breaking above the high. I think we had already taken this one, kind of reacting whatever from there. In the higher time frame, we have the next level kind of support resistance just above it. Right, so we kind of have somewhere in here, kind of broke this one, and we are kind of in the middle. So expecting a little bit price to get closer, that can be not really an option of on the CAD. But then my concern was, there was a good level in there to look for short, but my concern was again, did we engulf down or not? I really liked where price reacted from here on this daily candle, which we broke the high of this daily candle. Price went down, respected this wick in there. Quite nice. You see that happening more often than not. Even on this move on the CAD, we saw that happening in here. Okay. That was one of the reasons I was not looking for shorts in there, because this low literally just reacted from the wick of this one, and that was it. And that was it. So on the 4 hour, it was a nice kind of demand in there. Yeah, on 1 hour as well, it was still fresh, this demand zone, nice reaction, and price went up. After that, another situation is that price literally managed to respect this demand zone without these lows. None of them kind of broke the low, kind of giving indication that maybe wanted to go further down. So this demand in here managed to hold price up. We spent kind of almost 2 days within this range until finally yesterday after the US Open. Dollar CAD went to the upside. There was somewhere in here a nice zone to look for a bounce, for maybe the sell. Maybe expecting something like this, which never happened, right? We had a bounce. I was following even price on the one time frame. I was following the approach there. We can see that there is no break of the low on the way up. Every single demand has been respected, and there's even some momentums to the upside where even with demands fresh behind, right? So we are going up. This demand kind of, it's even fresh as well. This one is still fresh. This price is going up. This one was still fresh as well. That was actually because I was not really initially I would be looking for sales. It was a really nice reaction from this KM that was created during that Bank of England move. Because of everything that I just said, which was, for me, there was no move downside, no break off in here, and the approach was quite strong. Actually, was about to actually go long on this IKM level in there, that we have this demand. I missed the entry. I should have placed kind of a breakout, a buy stop above this guy, to look for longs, and I didn't really do that. I was looking a little bit like for a little bit of a retracement there, never happened, and price just took off. It was, I was not that active yesterday in the afternoon to look for trades, but I saw this opportunity when CAD went there because I had an alert, start following price. This actually could have been a nice trade in there. Yeah. So initially I was biased to look for a sell, but because I never saw really good PI or anything to give me indication for that, I actually flipped and start looking for longs. And interesting enough, we finally managed to break the high, which is, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how price is going to open next week. Are you going to use the fake out of that high and price may go down, or are you going to continue to the upside and get a little bit, maybe react from that a little bit above it, maybe something in there. Yep, maybe something in here that maybe CAD can go to. So it's going to be another one. I've been enjoying following CAD and trading it during these last couple of weeks, 3 weeks. So it's going to be another pair that it's going to be on my radar for next week for sure. Yep. Nat review, of course, we do still have now this previous level in there. There's maybe some demand in there that is still fresh. In the case that price eventually wants to go and price from there. So let's see. Even underneath all this level, for sure, maybe there's some opportunity to look for another reaction, which is something that I'll be paying attention to as well. So yeah, we had a little bit of a nice commotion of flows in there, and let's see eventually our price approach this level, and we're going to react from there. Yeah, another one I'll be paying attention to on Monday. Dollar franc Swiss. Yep, there you go. We talked about that double top, and this level was fresh, and the reaction from there, right? Quite nice reaction. Move down. It was quite obvious. Everyone was looking at it. Yep, this was a nice zone. We actually managed to create a little bit of a new low in there. Another double top. These guys love to make double tops, apparently. Is this the zone where price is ready now to go down? Kind of yes or no, or price will eventually still fake out this now new double top in there and maybe go a little bit closer to this level. I wouldn't mind to see that happening, to be honest. I wouldn't mind to see price going up, even fake out this new double top in there, even take the orders from these guys and get a little bit closer to this one. And don't forget we actually have another double top in there, but that one would be really around the parity as well. it has been, dollar franc Swiss has been bouncing between the parity as well quite often. So yeah, maybe looking for that sell somewhere in there could be interesting. We broke these lows. It's okay to react from there now because it's actually it was a fresh level in there. So yeah, let's see what dollar franc Swiss is going to do. Eventually it can go under test this level or even continue down. Yeah, let's see. But I do like that level of price maybe going upwards and even take out this high, this double top, and maybe reverse from somewhere a little bit above it. We have all these lows as well, all these highs, we have that level. Yeah, let's see, maybe finding something in there can be interesting to look for. Meanwhile, there's maybe some opportunities to have still underneath this double top on the lower time frame. Franc Swiss is usually one that I literally just try to find out these higher time frame zones and maybe look for an opportunity like that. It's not a pair that I usually follow on the intraday level. No, that's what it is. Gold, if you remember as well, on gold we are kind of looking for a reversal last Saturday or last Tuesday. I think we talked about gold, which in terms of higher time frame, after the break of this strong level of support that we noticed around 1600 and something, this was the next zone that I looked for. Just below this low, as you can see, we had this demand, we had out this level in there, and price has been respecting it. So expecting price to go now to the next level. What is the next level? It's just find where there are the next fresh zones in there, especially in the higher time frame. That's where most likely we can expect some kind of reaction. You can literally see there's a big space in there. Price is reacting from somewhere within that week. And there you go. The approach actually, it was amazing. Yeah. Hey, about trade. Hey, nice to see you, man. Good morning. Yeah, it must be early for you in there. Thank you, man. Thank you for passing by and to say hi. Yeah, it's been almost 1 hour and a half of a stream as well. I'm almost finishing. Just covering afterwards some crypto, and that's it. I hope you had a good week since we last talked, and yeah, man, thank you for stopping by. Yeah. So yeah, looking at gold in here, actually the approach kind of a 3-drive kind of approach. We had out this trend line as well, and then we even have a smaller one in there, which was, yeah, Jesus, if you want a better approach than this, in order to look for a reversal, you are not really going to find something better than this. The trend line is so obvious. We have accumulation of liquidity. We have the breakup of the trend line, and even if you're not happy with that one, we have even a bigger one in here, which was, I think, once again, during the Bank of England move. We have that fast spike. So there you go. After that, yes, we can start looking for move higher. We can look, of course, this next level support resistance, and it was so strong. To see how price is reacting from there. At this point, it reacted quite nicely already. Exactly from that previous level, 1675. What was previous support can work quite nice as resistance. We don't need to fight those levels, right? Regardless of what kind of strategy or how sophisticated your way of analyzing the market is, these levels still work. And yeah, previous support, workers resistance, and so on and so forth. Yeah, nice that your week was good, man. It's been a big fight, man. I actually had a great month. I would go into it tomorrow, do a deep dive into my statistics and everything. I had a good month. However, I could have had an even better one, which is actually something that Edgewonk, the online trading tool that I use. I started using it like I bought it like 2 months ago, something like that. Because I wanted to start analyzing in more detail my trade management of my trades, to track as well my missing trades and so on and so forth, and they provide a great statistics of all of that information that you want to gather. So a great tool. And yeah, and I noticed even though I had a good week, I actually had a good month. However, when I actually compare then what I could have got, and I'm not even considering yet the missing trades, which there were a few. Yeah, I could see that I could have had even a better week or month, and it's great. There's progress, and that's the grinding of trading, right? It's fighting every day. It's a battle to try to achieve our best performance. Yeah. So yeah, gold, right? Nice reaction. Somewhere in there. We had a few spikes in here. At this point, not really sure. Not really sure if that's going to be now the zone where it may resume the move downside. If there is more weakness on the dollar, apparently gold and dollar, it has been one of those as well in the last few months that we can see the big inverse correlation with a kind of strong dollar, weak gold, weak dollar, strong gold. So if the dollar is actually going to continue to go maybe down, maybe we're going to see a little bit more strength on gold, which could be interesting. And maybe that's an option. Is something in there, something above these guys, or price is just going to resume? Is price going to range? It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen on gold. Personally, I don't think this is kind of the last zone before I have a major turn. On the other hand, because we broke such an important level of structure, that if this, as I mentioned, sometimes when I'm analyzing higher time frame charts, I try to change the perspective and think about it as if this was kind of a 15 minutes time frame. Was this a good level to maybe have a deeper trace before the continuation to downside? And usually you see that happening after you break actually kind of an important level of structure. It's kind of, in terms of scales, you kind of enter into a new dimension of the trade, which can open actually much more room to the downside. However, before we actually do that move, usually we see kind of one of 3 things, which could be, yep, we broke, we test, we go down. The easiest and more natural. Another one, it will be we break, we may go higher, we may kind of react from the maybe the more obvious high that created that break of this support zone. Maybe price could retrace and continue, or even fake out this high. Actually, that would be even a much better opportunity, even though I like this spike in here. There's a spike there into that fresh supply. If that spike doesn't happen, I wouldn't be surprised if you do break something like this. And that move would have been quite similar to what the indices did. They did a deep retrace and then they continued. Or there's even major deeper retrace, which would be actually kind of go all the way back here and eventually go all the way down. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Or even since we actually have that double top, why not? That's much farther away from happening. But let's see how price is going to do this, or even just take this one actually, and maybe resume down. It's going to be interesting to see what gold is going to do. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Yep. Usually in terms of trend continuations and stuff, or after price breaking such an important level of structure, that's usually the best moment for price to have a deep retrace. So if you break if you break a daily high or a weekly high, or like something like that. It's one of the best moments to now have a deeper trace, go all the way back and maybe retest that origin on the weekly or daily candle or structure scale, or then to continue. Now, if you find that opportunity on the war time frame, that can give you the opportunity of a massive trade, because you are kind of trading a daily war time frame trade on a daily scale, which can actually offer a huge opportunity, a huge setup. Yep. Yeah, basically that's it in terms of all of this. I think I covered all the pairs in here. Maybe just to finalize with the Bitcoin and Ethereum, which in my opinion there isn't that much to talk about because it hasn't moved. Price still holds this low from the summer, from the 18 of June, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 18 of June. It still holds this level in here and it's ranging all the way in there. Meanwhile, while we have all this, we had Bank of England going crazy. We have this week, just yesterday, NASDAQ breaking new lows. Dollar going crazy to the upside. We have intervention of Bank of Japan and Bitcoin is not reacting. It's just within this range. We have a little bit of the spikes in here. This was when, I think, when it broke when NASDAQ broke the lows, price was actually going down, but then paused and go up. So what does it mean for Bitcoin? I'm not sure. Is this shows strength and should you look for longs, or is just a pause, making everyone nervous about it, making everyone keep buying as price is getting somewhere in there. I think there was, I don't know which day was it, but there was a like 90% volume on the on a day or something like that. I don't really know what. I heard something like that, or I read something like that on Bitcoin. Or is this literally just an accumulation to create a little bit of hope, people, that this low is going to hold until we finally just do this, and maybe we finally have a little bit of a bigger move to the upside. We're going somewhere in there. So let's see what's going to happen in here on BTC. There's maybe some zone underneath it that maybe price wants to go to 17,000, for example. Let's see. I'm more biased on waiting for any breaking this low, and then maybe you have the reversal. But yes, for now, this last 2 weeks, literally since the middle of September, Bitcoin has been just ranging in between here, so that's what it is. Ethereum, the range may be a little bit bigger, but it's also in this range. Reacted from this nice demand zone. As we know, Ethereum is a little bit farther away from the lows, of breaking any lows of the summer. So it's literally, while Bitcoin is trading in here, Ethereum still has a lot of room to even go and break those lows. So let's see. And actually, because of that, I actually wouldn't mind to see actually Ethereum going a little further down, at least until somewhere in there. Before, if it wants to go up, at least go a little bit further down, getting close a little bit more to this zone, to these lows, to this level, before actually going up, and not from here. I don't really see anything special in here for price to completely jump through and start creating new highs. I see this one just kind of as in a range between this level. It was a nice demand zone, but I could see Ethereum going a little bit farther down. For now, it's just completely range. If that's your strategy, maybe you can start buying the bottoms, selling the tops, and most likely had a good week doing that. Yeah, honestly, I don't really have anything else to talk about or to cover. I think I've covered all the pairs that I kind of look at with dollar index, with indices, without these major effects, and just finalizing now with crypto. Yeah, let's see what's going to happen next. Is this low going to be the low for the next days, weeks? I could see that happening. I could see this one euro dollar to hold for a while. Again, somewhere in there could be an option, maybe even a little bit above it. Let's see. Retracing to the parity level, and then let's see what's going to happen next. That's a little bit my bias on the euro after this big reversal happening in there. Yep. Okay, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to watch it. To let me know if you let me know if last week, if you watched last week, if you managed to get benefit from the prediction that you did on Eurodollar, for example, the reversal on from the lows to the upside. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you benefit from it, or if you are taking into consideration any predictions that I'm making, any zones that I'm looking for. Aside from that, enjoy your weekend. It's beginning of October, so wishing everyone a great month of trading. Yeah, enjoy your weekend, guys. See you next time. Obrigado.